Hi there and welcome to BBC London. Coming up on the programme. Counting the cost of tool theft as tradespeople protest in Westminster, we hear how it's affected the livelihoods of people in the capital.
Just 5-6 times these people have been broken into. We have to literally start again, and people that, they are suffering out there, cost of living crisis, all that kind of stuff. We cannot let this carry on.
They want much tougher sentences for tool theft. Also tonight, 4-year-old Daniel Closey, who died from sepsis after his symptoms were repeatedly missed by doctors. His parents receive an apology and a payout from a North London hospital. Plus,
go out there, pick up some rubbish and tell people that you can also change the world if you wish to.
Would you go plogging? The student from Wembley on a mission to get us picking up litter while jogging. And
America's NBA has come to the capital, providing London schools and students with better access to basketball.
hello and good evening to you. Lovely to have you with us this evening. As you may have heard, hundreds of tradespeople have been gathering in their vans in Westminster to highlight what they describe as a plague of tool thefts and the devastating impact it's having on livelihoods here in the capital. The campaign group Trades United wants the government to take action, calling for much tougher penalties for tool theft. Ben Moore has this special report and has been hearing from some of those affected.
Tool theft is a plague. Everything you work for is basically taken off you. To a thief, there's no value to it all because they'll take them all down to the boot sale. We say all loot at the car boot.
This is where all your tools are, boys.
I nearly took my own life. I felt everything I'd ever worked for in 13 years just to be taken away from you in minutes. Makes you feel worthless.
So there are 3,655 tools that were seized. So a rough estimate for the value was £1 million.
Today we're stripping this roof off.
You need the right tool for the right job. But Ruther Dennis was brought down to earth when all his tools were stolen.
They made a hole straight through there, pulled the latch, opened the door.
Dennis is one of tens of thousands who've had their tools stolen in the last year.
We pulled up just to look at the job, got a coffee, literally 2 minutes. Every single power tool that we had been stolen. You know, I've got a family, we've got to eat, we've got to pay bills, and to suddenly have to find £3,000 is not easy.
Can't sleep without locking both of them. If you look at this bag over here, it's got my thermal imaging camera in there. That bag alone is £5,000.
Swabe's a gas fitter from Romford. He spent nearly £2,000 securing his van.
I lost £8,500 worth of tools in a matter of minutes. I only went in to do a kitchen tap.
Here's the state of my van that I came out to this morning. Look.
Tool theft cripples businesses. The loss of work, the loss of earnings, you've probably lost your customer, you can't recover from it, you're going to end up closing your business.
So all your tools are that have been jacked up recently.
So where do the millions of tools stolen in the UK end up?
They've got a market where they can sell it, and that is a car boot sale. A few things that got to be changed. First of all, the penalties have to be there, the punishments have to be there. Second of all, I think the places like car boot sales, they need to be toughened up a little bit. There needs to be a bit more regulation around them.
It took them 22 seconds to get into the van, 4.5 minutes to empty it. I had roughly £8,000 to £15,000 worth of tools stolen out my van in one hit.
As well as the financial burden, there's a human cost to losing tools. It sent Stephen into a spiral of depression and he tried to take his own life.
Everything goes through your head. You feel sick, you feel down, you feel depressed. You want to wake up, you want to hope it's all a dream.
This is a shipping trailer that we actually had to purchase due to the amount of tools that were seized on one warrant. We seized 3,655 tools.
Police say they're making progress by targeting the tool theft gangs.
Myself and my team were here for 10 days straight, and we checked every single tool for its serial number.
Did you manage to get any back to their owners?
of these tools, there are a large percentage that we cannot trace the owners for, which is really frustrating.
Most of these tools will now go to charity. Their former owners hope that if new tougher sentences are introduced, it'll be business as usual in the future. Ben Moore, BBC London.
Before we get more on this, it's worth mentioning if you or someone you know is struggling with the impact of something like this on mental health, the BBC does have a list of organisations that can help and support in confidence. Just search BBC Action Line. Well, Victoria Hollins has been looking at some of the changes being called for to help deter tool theft and joins me. Hi, Vic. What is being said?
Yeah, we heard that, didn't we? The absolute devastation that this crime can cause. It's not just a loss of livelihood or the loss of tools, it's the loss of income while people pursue perhaps an insurance claim, which can, of course, take quite a long time. Now, we know that 44,000 or so tool thefts were reported to police in 2023. That was a 5% increase on the previous year, according to the insurance company Direct Line. This has really struck a nerve with people today, I think. And BBC Radio London were talking about this all afternoon and got loads of messages on this. One man who said he slept in his van to try and protect his own tools. Now, today's campaign is all about trying to get stricter laws against breaking into a tradesperson's van. One MP is trying to get the law changed. That's Labour's Amanda Martin. Now, she's proposed a series of reforms to sentencing guidelines in the sentencing bill, which was tabled in December. Now, it suggests that adding theft of tools to be considered as causing significant additional harm to a victim. Now, that would increase the potential then for a custodial sentence, a prison sentence, rather than just a community order. Now, the government have told us that they understand the impact that tool theft has on victims who, of course, rely on them to earn a living, and it says that it will continue to explore ways to tackle the issue. Now, the Met Police have also responded to this because some people believe that this isn't a crime which is responded to effectively, and they have said any allegation of crime reported to the police will be assessed to see if there are any viable lines of inquiry, including forensic opportunities that can be progressed. It goes on to say vans are often targeted by thieves for the tools stored inside. We advise not leaving tools or valuables of any kind inside vehicles overnight. Items that are clearly marked are less desirable and more difficult to sell on. Now, that's something which is supported by the National Police Chiefs Council, who's given a bit of advice on this as well. They suggest that tradespeople find out about property marking days, which a lot of police forces offer. They suggest that people keep a register of the items that they've bought with key details, including specifically serial numbers. And if people do see tools being sold at perhaps very low prices at places like car boot sales, that they do let the police know and they report it to them. That, of course, all very little comfort, though, to people who've already suffered from this crime.
Yeah, as you say, Victoria, a huge response from Londoners on this story for now. Thanks very much. We'll keep an eye on it. You're watching BBC London. Plenty more to come this Monday evening, including...
I'm at London Zoo, where this biosecure room is home to 33 tiny froglets after a 7,000-mile mission to save the species from extinction.
The family of a 4-year-old who died from sepsis at a London hospital after his symptoms were missed by doctors on 3 previous visits have received an undisclosed financial settlement. The Royal Free has apologised and insists measures have been put in place to improve. Layla Hayes has more on this story.
Well, this is 4-year-old Daniel Closey. He died in April 2023 after developing sepsis. His parents had taken him to the Royal Free Hospital in North London 4 times in 1 week, but his symptoms were missed. And by the time staff realised he had sepsis, it was too late. An inquest into Daniel's death did not find the trust neglectful, but said a chance to give him antibiotics was missed. His parents have now received an apology and an undisclosed financial settlement from the hospital, but they say no amount of money will bring Daniel back.
There were many failures. Systemic failures, individual failures, professional failures. So basically it was not only one thing that led to Daniel's death. We were not heard as parents. I mean, our concerns were dismissed.
Well, the Royal Free Hospital say they are sorry that Daniel died while under their care. And today they told us that following an investigation, we identified a number of areas for improvement and measures were taken to immediately address these. This included improving training and awareness for all our staff, particularly in relation to children who repeatedly visit our emergency departments. Well, sepsis is when the body's immune system overreacts to an infection and starts attacking its own tissues and organs. It is life-threatening, but it can be difficult to spot. Here are some of the symptoms parents need to look out for.
If the child is breathing very fast, if they have a fit or a convulsion, if they look an abnormal colour, if they're mottled or a bluish colour or very pale. If they have that rash that every parent dreads that doesn't fade under a glass, if they feel abnormally cold to the touch, and particularly if they're very lethargic, difficult to wake up, won't show any interest in anything.
Well, Daniel's parents say they're relieved that the hospital has now acknowledged mistakes were made in caring for their son. They say they wish they had got a second opinion, but they hope things have now changed so this doesn't happen to anyone else.
That's Layla Hayes reporting there. Let's bring you some of the day's other news in brief now. The two children who died after being hit by a car in Pitsea in Essex on Saturday have been named as 16-year-old Roman Castledon and his sister Darcy, who was 9. A man and a woman in their 20s have been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving and failing to stop at the scene. Former British soldier Daniel Khalif has been sentenced to 14 years after spying for Iran for cash payments and escaping from Wandsworth Prison in September 2023. The judge at Woolwich Crown Court said he'd showed himself to be a dangerous fool who handed over genuine military information to Iranian handlers. And Hugh Jackman has pulled out of his tour date at London's Hyde Park this summer. The actor was due to perform songs from musicals at the BST Festival in July. He's blamed unforeseen scheduling conflicts. Ticket holders will be automatically refunded in full for tickets purchased through official agents. Next, with a shortage of homes and big infrastructure projects taking place here in the capital, there's an ongoing need for construction skills. Well, if you live in Camden, are over the age of 19 and are thinking about a career in construction, then this could be your opening. The high-speed rail link HS2 has started a new boot camp to get trainees job ready to build the railway, and they can claim they can do it in 2 weeks. Our transport correspondent Tom Edwards went to find out more.
Fatima is one of the first to complete a 2-week boot camp. She's from Camden and always wanted to work in construction. Now she's got qualifications to operate a dumper truck and is a trainee site manager.
It's literally transformed my life. It's been a whole transformation and I'm still in awe, honestly.
The high-speed line HS2 is trying to show it can bring benefits to Euston.
It's brought out, I know I can do things, I've been able to do things that I never thought I could do. So I'm more confident and I think I'm going places in the construction industry.
HS2 is paused in Euston, although it will now terminate here, and uncertainty from the project has blighted the area. Eventually, there will be thousands of homes, though, and new businesses, but plans are still being drawn up.
We now have a degree of certainty. We know that HS2 will come to Euston. Now we need to ensure that people in Camden can access the jobs that will come with it, like we're doing today on the skills side. We'll also be bringing, the project will also bring thousands of new homes, which we need to ensure benefit people locally.
The boot camp is a small scheme. 30 locals are being trained up, but that will grow. And there will also be 2,000 apprenticeships across the project.
And the press around HS2 has been negative. It's been paused here, obviously, for a while. Is this another side of it?
It certainly is. My role is really about trying to make sure that we deliver positive benefits as part of this project, making sure we've got local people like Fatima, like Beatrice, like Abdul, into work on our projects, but also into work within our industry to make sure that we're really ensuring that this project is helping with economic growth and transforming people's lives.
I think with HS2, no matter what people have to say about them, they're doing a lot of things. We've got 140 miles of new train track. We've got thousands and thousands of homes that are going to get built. Even more jobs are going to be getting even more job opportunities. So I think with everything, there's a good and a bad, but overall, this project will change a lot of people's lives. And people will be able to come from Birmingham to London in 49 minutes, less than an hour. So I think that is absolutely great. And I am literally a transformed person because of it, so I've only got great things to say about them.
This massive scheme will take years to complete, but the project hopes these graduates will show how construction can benefit those living in the area. Tom Edwards, BBC London.
Now, I may be small, but we know basketball players are tall, and sports star LeBron James is certainly one of America's best. I think he's 6'8", by the way. Now the NBA is hoping to use its global appeal to inspire young people here in the capital into the game. Our reporter Matt Graveling has been to a London school to find out more.
Whether it's threes, twos, or even just one from the free throw line, basketball's all about points. And making theirs in London today was the world's biggest leagues, the NBA and WNBA, showcasing the sport's smaller format, 3v3.
It's a game where boys and girls can play with not as structured rules as 5-on-5, so they get to touch and feel the basketball, they get to experiment and learn, so it's less intimidating. And for new kids coming into the game, it allows you to adjust and learn before going on to 5v5.
3 players on each team, known as 3v3, debuted at the Olympics in 2020. It's hoped that playing it in schools may now see more students shooting hoops, especially young women.
For us, we'd really love to see more girls taking part in all sports. And we've seen a really big upsurge in women's football, obviously. I think it really inspires some of those females to actually think, well, actually, I can do this, and this is something that is a potential career for me.
So what is it about basketball that appeals to today's teams from St Augustine's School in Kilburn?
Even though I'm not a really committed basketball player, they're always so eager to accept me into their group.
I love the team surrounding basketball and who it involves and how you all work together for one common purpose.
One thing I love about basketball is the challenge and the community, because everyone playing together is just what I enjoy most.
While America's NBA is no stranger to sports fans, it may come as a surprise that the league is now dunking its way into classrooms. Schools across the country can go online and search for Junior NBA 3v3 in the classroom and download some teaching resources. But if you're a secondary school in London, you can also sign up for a very special tournament.
1, 2, 3!
And the NBA and WNBA's teammate for this free tournament is London Marathon Events.
Schools will be entering around London. They'll be having little tournaments against each other, little playoffs coming to a grand final in London. So it is just really getting kids involved, and it doesn't have to be about the best, it's just about having fun.
And any London schools hoping to sign up have until Valentine's Day to get their application in the basket. Matt Graveling, BBC London.
So schools have got until a week on Friday. That's next Friday the 14th, isn't it? Well, following on from that, it's not quite a sport, but it's certainly exercise. Have you ever heard of plogging? It's a climate action movement which sees individuals or groups pick up litter while jogging, hence plogging. A student from Wembley began doing it in India before picking it up again when he moved to London. And now he's on a mission to spread the word across the UK.
It's a climate action pilgrimage for me. My name is Vivek and I'm a plogger. Plogging is a combination of jogging and picking up litter. So you keep the environment fit while keeping yourselves fit as well. I started plogging in India in the year 2019, and it's been a journey of 10 years when I have learned that people have irresponsible attitudes towards environment and they throw rubbish anywhere. And it's a problem, it's an eyesore for me, and I thought I should do something about it. So in 2019, I realized why not take some form of individual action, go out there, pick up some rubbish and tell people that you can also change the world if you wish to. And plogging is that movement that I built up, and it has grown over past 4 or 5 years, and now it's in the UK as well. Whenever I go plogging, I see all forms of rubbish on the street, be it chewing gums, be it cigarette butts, and a lot of disposed sanitary pads and diapers. That's surprising. Whenever I pick up rubbish, people think, why am I doing this? They look at me, the stares that I get, that is also surprising sometimes. But I believe this is also an example that I'm trying to create, where I can tell people that once you start doing something on your own, people might join you and you can form a community who can go together and change this world. So right now I am on a 50-city plogging tour, which has started in London. I have done 30 days plogging challenge in London already. So now I wish to explore different parts of this country, go to different towns and cities and pick up rubbish there to raise the awareness on individual action and why it matters. Picking up rubbish might seem a smaller action, but smaller actions like this can have a big ripple effect. I feel more than 20,000 ploggers are present in this community in India. There are 500 ploggers in the community in the UK, and I want to grow this far and wide. My message is of climate optimism. I want people to feel hopeful about this whole movement, because they can be change makers, they can be on ground, they can solve this problem by taking some positive actions and be closer to greener spaces and fix the problems that we are seeing today.
Good on him, and keep an eye out for Vivek and plogging. You heard it here first. Well, on that note, let us take you to the rainforest in Chile now. Complete, I think, with some sound effects for the start of our next story about these endangered Darwin froglets. They're hard to spot because, well, quite frankly, they're tiny, just 5 millimetres long. And after a 7,000-mile journey, more than 30 have been born right here in the capital. Alice Thorfield has been to London Zoo to find out more.
These tiny creatures are Darwin's frogs, named after Charles Darwin, who first discovered them in 1834. Measuring under 3 centimetres long, they live in forests in southern Chile. In 2023, a deadly fungus was discovered, which wiped out more than 90% of their population, leaving the species on the brink of extinction.
But 7,000 miles away here, in this rather unassuming part of London Zoo between the loos and the outback, in this small room, something rather special has been happening.
After a rescue mission to a remote island off the coast of Chile to find frogs without the disease, a team from the zoo and local conservationists managed to rescue 53 of them and bring them to this biosecure room in London, where they've been painstakingly caring for them ever since.
And it turns out that some of the males were actually carrying young in their vocal cords. You're going to have to explain this to me.
So Darwin's frogs are an unusual form. Initially, the females produce spawn in the same way as the other frog would do, a small quantity of that. The tadpoles live within the spawn and feed their way up, but then at some point in their development, the males then take the young and they develop them within the vocal sacs of themselves, so their own vocal sacs. And so the frogs go through that final few stages of development within that environment and come out as fully formed little frogs.
And they were born here, those frogs?
Yes, so they emerged out here. We had 11 males produce currently 33 young, and we're incredibly excited. This is a really big moment, a landmark moment for both the zoo, and it shows that we have secured for the time being this population no matter what happens within the wild.
The team hope keeping these frogs safe in captivity will buy the species time while their forest home is made fungus-free, with the plan to eventually reintroduce them back into the wild. Alice Thorfield, BBC London.
And with that, let's get a check on this February weather and the next few days with Gillian Brown.
Hello, good evening to you. It's been a very cloudy day across the capital today, hasn't it? Still hasn't stopped our weather watchers who've been sending in their pictures. This one from Teddington just shows how cloudy it's really been. Very overcast and very grey. And that is kind of how we're going to stay as we head through tonight. So it will be largely dry. We have had some drizzle today, but it will be dry overnight and it will be turning a bit breezier as we watch our next weather front move in. So let's have a look at this evening. We do have some clearer skies around, but you will notice that cloud does kind of bubble up a little bit as we head into the early hours. So a few clearer breaks, but then the cloud kind of moves back in as we head into the early part of Tuesday morning. But the cloud will help keep the temperatures up, so around 3 to 5 degrees quite widely. So as for tomorrow morning, this is how we look. Again, quite overcast. As we get into the afternoon, it does start to break up slightly. So the chance of seeing some sunshine before our next weather front moves in, you can see it there. That range is starting to move its way eastwards. Temperatures between maybe 9 and 11 degrees. We're also going to pull in that milder air as well. So this is how we look through the evening. You can see it turns quite light and patchy and it clears away. We've got high pressure sitting behind that weather front, which is going to leave us with plenty of clear skies. Temperatures down slightly because of that, around 3 to 5 degrees. So slightly cooler, but a much brighter start as we look towards Wednesday. Plenty of wintry sunshine around, not really much cloud at all. You'll see we're pretty untouched there until a bit later in the afternoon, and we'll start to see a little bit of that cloud move in. Temperatures around 7 to 9 Celsius, so slightly lower than we'll see tomorrow, and that is just because we're putting in something a little bit cooler. But it's high pressure in charge, ruling the roost through the rest of the week. So midweek to end of the week looking pretty settled and dry. So it does mean we will get some sunshine, some dry, settled weather to come, but it is going to feel a bit colder.
Before we go, a quick reminder of a couple of headlines. President Trump has suspended the imposition of a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico by a month after talks with their president. Mexico has agreed to immediately reinforce the border with 10,000 troops to help tackle drug smuggling. And here in London, hundreds of tradespeople descended on Westminster today to urge the government here to impose harsher sentences on thieves who steal tools. The campaign group Trades United says current legislation doesn't reflect the huge impact on victims. And that is where we leave you this Monday. But more stories, of course, on our website and social media, including, in case you may have missed it, a London trial using AI to help assist in the care of vulnerable people in their own homes. Plus, how a shy ex-delivery driver landed a spot on the new series of The Apprentice. You can catch up on the first episode on iPlayer right now. From me and all the team here, thanks very much for watching, and do enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.